want to be more excited than I am, but I'm somehow here disappointed. So Hello and welcome to Disappointment. My name is Derek Montilla, occasionally known, soon to be known once again as your PHNX mayor around this joint. This man next to me, Mr. Electric himself, Shawn not feeling very electric after seeing the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Spiteful.
Spiteful?
Yes.
Mr. Spiteful,
yes.
Shawn Of course, Jesse Friedman is not joining us today because he will be traveling back from California, and I will be worrying about him the whole time. But we got a pretty good replacement. We got a pretty good pinch hitter to join us today. I'm very excited to have from the MLB Network Radio, the one and only Mike Ferrin. Mike, how are you doing, sir?
Well, I'm great. I was worried when you said you weren't very excited about today. That
Oh no, not because of you. I'm always excited to talk to you.
Well, sure.
What I'm not excited about is the Diamondbacks not able to being able to improve this team at all with all of these really good players that were available on waivers today at the waiver deadline. So I guess my first question for you is, what were your thoughts on especially the Cleveland Guardians kind of coming in here and scooping up so many of these available players from the Los Angeles Angels fire sale?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like, first of all, the whole situation was weird, right? And you don't generally see a team put half a dozen players on waivers like that in August.
So odd.
But, you know, like if you're in Cleveland's boat, you're in a division where the team that is leading it isn't great. You just took 2 out of 3 on the road. You had waiver priority because your record was the worst of the contending teams. And you felt like you could fill 3 needs that would help to get you through the rest of the season, especially since you have 1 series left against Minnesota. I mean, they're 5 back in the division, right? I know they're 6 games under, but, you know, a lot can happen in a month, and all you're giving up is money. I'll be honest, I thought that they should have claimed Hunter Renfroe too if they were going to do it. But seriously, like the Guardians have decided over the course of the last nearly half decade that they don't actually need to acquire outfielders. Now that they did it this year, they got Ramon Laureano this month, and Laureano's been great. Cole Calhoun has been playing a lot of first base for them and hit a big 3-run homer for him yesterday that won the game. But, you know, I mean, that's the nature of waivers, right? Whoever has priority gets to win the claim. The Diamondbacks, it sounds like, you know, talking to people yesterday, they were focused on the relievers, it seemed like, and, you know, they weren't bad enough to get the claim, even though they were in kind of the best position of, you know, like theoretically they were in a very good position, but Miami would have claimed guys. You know, Cincinnati may have tried to claim the pitchers as well. So like there was a lot of different things that went into play there, but you know, I mean, it is what it is. There's nothing you can do about it. It's not like they didn't try to get them. They just weren't bad enough to get them.
I mean, and like you said, we have no idea if they would have been scooped up even if they made it past Cleveland or were available if Cleveland didn't go after them. But do you think that this, like MLB needs to kind of revamp this considering the way that these teams that are essentially just, you know, outliers as far as playoff contention is concerned, but they're still in the hunt, can kind of have priority to all of the available players. And I know this is unprecedented. Like this typically doesn't happen where there's this kind of talent available, but do they need to do something where maybe, you know, like what we all know from our fantasy football waivers where you get put back to the end of the line after you get the guy that you were looking at?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think what we saw was a pretty unique situation with the Angels, and to your point, we see guys go on waivers plenty in August. Even since August trades have been abolished, you can't trade major league players or players that have been on a major league roster after July 31st. Now, you know, there's still plenty of players that go on waivers and they get claimed, and it's for salary purposes, right? Like you're trying to get out from under the money. The fact that the Angels put 6 guys on at the same time was really, you know, unusual. So I don't know that that's what needs to change. I mean, I think something that they do need to look at is adjusting the trade deadline itself. You know, they got rid of the old waiver trade process was complicated because, you know, while everybody is now an expert on major league waivers and that it goes in reverse order, right, of record, before 2019, when trades still happened, you had to clear your league individually. I believe that was still the case then. So like if the Angels had put all these players on waivers, they would have had to clear American League waivers and then National League waivers before they would have been cleared to be traded to anybody else, and then they could have pulled them back as well, right? They were revocable waivers. So it was a little bit different scenario. And I mean, listen, as a fan, I miss August trades. I think that's something that, leads to a little bit of excitement. You've got one last chance to improve your club.
Right.
I think as a general rule, trades are part of the entertainment value of sports, and specifically baseball, which is the sport that has had trades be the biggest part of it. So I think probably an adjustment in the deadline needs to happen, maybe one where you're moving it more to the middle of August from the end of July. But that's been something that they've talked about for 30 years and nothing has happened. It's just that now with 40% of the league making the postseason, it's really hard for teams to make a decision at that point, some teams to make a decision at that point. And I think pushing it back would help to add a little bit more clarity for some of those squads that, may have decided, like if we had an August 15th deadline where they would have made a move, and you probably had 3 or 4 teams that were buyers or holders at the deadline that may have changed out. They may have changed out players. Maybe Cleveland handles it a little bit differently if they go on a losing streak those first 2 weeks in August and they start trading guys away, more so than what they did with like the Ahmed Rosario deal and the Josh Bell deal. So I think that's probably where the adjustment is more so than the waiver claim priority.
What are your thoughts on the Angels kind of being all in at the trade deadline and now obviously doing everything they can to clear space? I mean, is this a huge organizational failure at this point, or is this kind of a smart move for them?
Well, I mean, they have a huge organizational failure in that their owner has done a really terrible job for the last, 10 years plus of helping to support their baseball operations, So,
right.
I mean, they've just gone through, a stretch where they have the 2 best players in baseball for, the last 3 seasons, and they're going to have losing records in all 3 years. Like, and I know Trout's missed some time with injury, and obviously Ohtani's hurt again now on the mound, but like, come on, that's kind of ridiculous. So I don't, I think it is disingenuous to say we want more teams to go for it. And then when they go for it to say, well, they shouldn't have done that, like at the trade deadline when the Angels did it. So I have no problem. And they're not that dissimilar from where Cleveland was. In fact, I think their playoff odds were a little bit higher than what Cleveland's were when they made those trades. Cleveland's at about 5.5% right now. I think they were closer to like 10 or 11. Like, I don't have any issue with that. And again, like, this is all part of the way that the system is built. It is a very complex system for contracts in Major League Baseball, and the Angels have the benefit of being able to get below the luxury tax threshold. And what that does is if Ohtani leaves as a free agent, because he'll be a qualifying offer free agent, they would get a pick at the end of comp round B instead of a pick at the end of the 4th round. And while you go, oh, geez, well, what's 2 rounds worth of picks? It's worth $500,000 in pool money for the draft picks. That is a significant amount of money when you're talking about draft pools. So my take is probably a little less hot than what everybody else is. I got what the Angels did at the deadline because they wanted to give their team a chance to win. And I am all for more teams being more aggressive in that regards if they think they've got even a fighting chance. And I also have no problems with them pivoting, knowing that other players were going to take on that contract, and it helps them with the financial realities of the club going forward.
I mean, obviously, the cloud hanging over the Angels is Shohei Ohtani. You mentioned him. Do you think this has any kind of like impact on their ability to re-sign him? It's completely unconnected.
None. I think Ohtani has said that he wants to win, right?
Yeah.
He was very excited about the moves that they made at the deadline. They didn't work. Ohtani is also dealing with some semblance of a compromised elbow, and I don't think we're going to know until the end of the season exactly what the plan is for him. Which is going to impact his free agency some. Mm-hmm. Personally, I felt all along that he's not going anywhere because he is the one player in Major League Baseball that is marketable internationally, and nobody even holds a candle to what he brings you in terms of eyeballs and attention and ancillary revenue. They sell millions of dollars of advertisements. Like if you watch an Angels game on TV, Like, it's all Japanese companies that are on the rotating boards behind home plate. Well, you lose
Yeah.
Ohtani, you lose all that revenue too. And, for as much as everybody's talked about, he's going to the Dodgers, well, like, he had a chance to sign as an international amateur with the Dodgers and decided to play in NPB, the Japanese league, because he got a chance to play two ways. So he turned down the Dodgers. He had a chance to sign with any team that he wanted. The numbers were going to be the same regardless of team when he came to the U.S., and he turned down the Dodgers. He decided to go to the Angels instead. So they're 0 for 2. At one point do you start thinking it's not you, it's me, right? So, like, I think there are enough signals to say he wants to be on the West Coast. The Angels certainly have paid a premium for their premier players in the past. They have about $120 million committed to next year's salary, which gives them about 110 to play with. You could have about half of that tied up in Shohei Ohtani and still probably be relatively close to the luxury tax threshold. Like, I think it's, to me, the odds-on favorite should be the Angels versus anybody else. I think San Francisco would be a spot, maybe Seattle. Seattle desperately wants him. They tried really, really hard to get him when he was posted, and they didn't. He decided to choose the Angels. So I'm hard-pressed to see him going anyplace else, because I think generally when you have a player that's of that kind of impact, both financially and on the field, you just don't let them go.
We're disappointed with the way that this whole waiver situation has worked out. Yeah. But, of course, we want to take a look at how this impacts the Diamondbacks and their playoff chances going forward. Mm-hmm. To be honest, I do feel obviously the Diamondbacks didn't get the players they went after. According to reports, they went after Giolito, the two relievers, and Harrison Bader. But as far as the way that this went, it could have gone worse for the Diamondbacks as far as some more of this talent ending up with the potential playoff teams that are below them right now in the National League and maybe making those teams better. What are your thoughts on the Diamondbacks' playoff chances right now as everything stands and the Reds adding Bader to their roster?
Yeah, they had Bader and Renfroe, right?
And
so,
Renfroe, yeah.
I mean, they needed help because they're dinged up, right? But they didn't do anything they weren't able to do anything to address pitching because Cleveland had priority. And that's really the big problem with the Reds right now, is that they just they haven't had healthy starting pitching. I mean, Hunter Green was really good yesterday against the Giants. I think it helps the Reds for sure. I mean, you're adding one of the best defensive center fielders in the game in Harrison Bader, and you're adding a guy with tremendous power who should benefit from playing in the Great American Ballpark in Hunter Renfroe. And those will be things that help the Reds out for sure. But, the Reds are going to play 4 against the Cubs this weekend. It's a huge series for them. Their schedule isn't super easy down the stretch. The Diamondbacks still have a number of games with the Cubs. I think they've got, 7 left with them. They still have the Giants coming to town for 2. And I think they're fairly well positioned. I know the bullpen has been a problem, and it's not going to be there aren't going to be a whole lot of comfortable ninth innings in close games. I think 8th and 9th innings for fans, right? Because that's just the nature of this anyway down the stretch. But I think they're a better offensive team than what the Giants are. They're maybe a more consistent offensive team than what Cincinnati is, and they're certainly a better offensive team than the Marlins are. I think their starting pitching is rounded into shape this series in LA notwithstanding. Yeah. Gallen, Kelly, and the emergence of Brandon Pfaadt have really helped that, and I think they're really encouraging signs in Zach Davies' last outing. And they don't have to play the Dodgers again. Quite frankly, that's pretty important in this. So,
great point.
It's tough for me to see. I really don't think there are very many good teams in the National League. I think the Braves are good. I think the Dodgers are pretty good. I think Philadelphia is good.
Yeah.
And otherwise, you want to pick, 3 names out of a hat and tell me, knowing that one of them is going to win the Central and then the other 2 are going to be wild cards.
Yeah.
Knock yourself out. I don't think that the Diamondbacks are that different from any of those. I think they're perfectly capable of winning 84 or 85 games, which is what would be the minimum qualifier probably to get into the postseason. And, they outside of the Dodgers series, they've played much better here over the course of the last 3 weeks. So, I don't think that this does much to move the needle either way on their postseason chances. I think, obviously, they'd like to be in one of the playoff spots right now, but being, a half game behind San Francisco with still 2 head-to-head games at home against them.
Right.
Saying you got a chance.
Yeah, and it's like you said, it really does feel like that. I mean, that's the reason why the Diamondbacks were able to have that atrocious July that they had, and they were able to stay in it. We were kind of we found it remarkable at times that when they were losing, everybody else seemed to be losing, and like you said, everybody in the National League seems to be kind of mid when comparing them to the Braves and the Dodgers. Is anybody beating the Braves and the Dodgers in the National League really when it comes down to it?
mean, like you saw it last year, right? Like, let's not forget that the last two teams to qualify in the National League playoffs were the ones that went to the League Championship Series last year,
that's
right?
a great
And the Phillies and the Padres. So,
Yeah.
and the Phillies ended up barely made the playoffs and ended up winning the National League pennant. So, yeah, I think it's possible. I mean, I think Atlanta has some real rotation question marks beyond Strider, and how much can you use a 40-year-old Charlie Morton in a single postseason game, let alone many of them, right? Like you're talking about having to shorten up starts. I think that there's weird stuff happens in 3 and 5 game series a lot, right? Like luck plays a disproportionate factor in baseball postseason series because you're not running it out over the course of 162 games. You're running it to like 154th of that if you're playing in the wild card round, right? So,
for sure.
and there's a chance if you're the 6th seed, like if you get matched up with Milwaukee, like Milwaukee can't hit. Like there are not playoff teams that have the offense that the Brewers have. It is really bad. They have some very good starting pitchers, but it's a lot easier for a starter to have a bad day in the postseason than it is for a bad offense to all of a sudden show up against playoff caliber pitching. So I really think that they're, like all you have to do is get in and then see what happens. But the arrow was pointing up for the organization overall, I think, whether it's 2023 or beyond, but I think that they're fine when it comes to having a chance to get there. That's
the one thing that we keep trying to say is that they're ahead of schedule. So at least this year it feels just like an experience kind of thing and house money, playing with house money a little bit. But Ferrin, we always appreciate you stopping by. We appreciate you being a wealth of knowledge when it comes to baseball. And of course, make sure to follow him on Twitter or X or whatever it's called these days at Mike_Ferrin. That's FERRIN. Mike, thank you again, sir.
Shawn, a pleasure to be with you. Derek, you were also here.
I appreciate that. Well, I mean, again, we're not thrilled about what happened today, but it could be a lot worse. That's the one thing I keep thinking. Yeah, I'm trying to be a bright side guy.
No,
right?
yeah,
and
I mean, it's a fair point.
They could have gone to the Marlins. They could have gone to the Reds. There's a lot of places that some of these talented players could have gone up. The Reds still made themselves better, but at least the Diamondbacks don't have any games against them. That's a problem other people have to deal with.
And I think what Mike pointed out is important is that they made themselves better, but they didn't address their biggest issue. Like their pitching is still the reason that they're not that dangerous, or they're not more dangerous than the Diamondbacks necessarily. Right, and so they addressed some injury problems, but they don't have any starting pitching. So obviously there was some of the guys that you would have liked to see here, but as Jesse had said, you had to be prepared to cut some guys loose. So you don't have to go through that.
That's very true.
Although I guess there's some guys that could have been cut loose that would have ultimately been a positive.
Oh, there's so many guys.
But
that you guys would have wanted to see cut.
Can't focus on that now. But I mean, I think you would have liked to see some of these guys end up with the Diamondbacks, but like you said, it ultimately, and like Mike said, ultimately it doesn't really affect their playoff chances all that much because they don't have to play the Reds again, and outside of that, none of the teams no one else really got that better. Much better in the National League.
I have no idea what the Diamondbacks were being asked to give up in order to get someone like Lucas Giolito, for instance, right?
At the deadline?
At the deadline. Yeah. But I do know that when I was taking a look at his numbers and some of the potential trades that we discussed on this show, I started thinking, like, is it worth it?
Yeah,
right?
the Giolito did not get me going.
Well, and then his numbers with the Angels, a 6.89 ERA.
Brutal.
He went 1-5 in 6 starts. I mean, I know a lot of that has to do with the team around him, but a 6.82 FIP,
that had nothing to do with
67 ERA plus. Like,
what is FIP?
Huh?
What is FIP? What is the stat?
Do you want me to break it down for you?
No,
like
I mean,
what's
but
included in it, or
what does it
stand
mean?
for? It's field independent pitching.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
right. Like, you're talking about the team that's around him.
No,
he just sucked. Like he was not that good, and like we are the anti-Dodgers in a lot of ways. There's no reason to expect that he's going to put on a Diamondbacks uniform and get better.
No, yeah,
that's not how that shit works.
Yeah, you're right. And I mean, again, this is what I feel like when I look at his numbers with the Angels. Like I feel what the Diamondbacks would have gotten from him, and if he would have come over and put up worse numbers than Zach Davies, put up worse numbers than Ryan Nelson, we would have fucking
It would have been
rioted.
Oh my
there
god!
Would have been
the calls for Hazen's head would have been
pitchforks
loud
in the streets and such, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm not saying like that Lucas Giolito, like missing him is the end all be all, but at least even if he is good for the Guardians, we don't have to worry about that shit. That doesn't impact the Diamondbacks hardly any at all for the rest of the
also
season.
if we end up facing the Guardians in the World Series and Lucas Giolito decides to shove in the World Series against the Arizona Diamondbacks, then like what are we doing here? At that point, we got bigger fish to fry because something's gone wrong. Like globally.
Yeah. Elise with another S tier comment. Elise said Renfroe on the D-backs would have been cool. Another right-handed bat off the bench or in the outfield with his elite arm would have been nice. Bader is always injured, so that is a gamble.
I don't know why no one was talking about Hunter Renfroe.
Yeah.
I don't know why that wasn't an option.
And he was killing it ever since it got announced that he was being put on waivers. Actually, all of these guys have been doing pretty well since they were announced they were being put on waivers. But anyway, we have more to talk about when it comes to that, but we want to thank you guys for being here in the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. Thank you for subscribing. If you've done so already,
making a lot of money, dog.
Subscribe now. Yeah, that's a big part of it too.
He's making a lot of money.
There is a lot of money that you still have to pay when it comes to this stuff.
11.9 on a 1-year deal.
Yeah. And he's probably still owed like $3 million, $4 million for the last month or so. Anyway, subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already. Sign up for notifications. That way you don't miss whenever we go live or any of the shows go live. Leave us a thumbs up just for our own personal self-esteem. If you're listening on the audio podcasting side, subscribe to us there as well. Leave us a review. We always appreciate that as well. Tell you, if you want to experience all the joys of imbibing THC, but you just want a wink of it, just a little bit, you should try our friends at Wink, which is a seltzer drink that contains 2.5 or 5 milligrams of THC. Summer's not a spectator sport. It's for you to go out there and get involved, get off the sidelines, get in the game, and grab yourself an ice cold Wink. It's the perfect balance of THC and CBD because there's an equal dose of CBD. And they describe it as THC's laid back friend who keeps the party from going off the rails. I might be that friend myself. I don't know. I've also been described as being the other guy as well. But again, there's something special about Wink. It's just got a little wink of THC. It also has no calories, no sugar, and no third-party producers. Wink is made in-house with 0 alcohol, calories, sugars, none of that stuff. It tastes just like your favorite refreshing seltzer. So make sure to check them out. Available again, either in a 2.5 milligram or 5 milligram can. You can find Wink right here in Arizona. Look for Wink at all Sunday Goods dispensaries in the Valley and Botanica dispensaries in Tucson. They're now in 12 states nationwide and even recently launched online ordering and home delivery to about a dozen others. To find the fastest way to get your hands on one, go to drinkwink.com, and that's WYNK.
That was impressive because we were kind of blowing up your phone during that ad.
Yeah.
Jesse appears to be listening to the podcast and not commenting, which kind of is outrageous.
That's infuriating. It's the live chat, Jesse.
I'm not going to expose our text messages,
okay.
But whatever. But I just want to point out that Hunter Renfroe is getting paid more money than Ketel Marte this year, and $100 million less than Cody Bellinger.
Okay,
I'll expose the text messages.
Okay.
Jesse texted us and said Hunter Renfroe sucks. Right after I said, I don't know why no one was talking about the Diamondbacks getting Hunter Renfroe.
Jesse,
that's a lot of money, dog.
See, that's what Jesse is like. That's what Jesse's like. You guys all think Jesse's so sweet and innocent, wholesome. No. Jesse's back here behind the scenes talking trash, talking mad trash.
And he's abusive.
Yeah, and he's very abusive to me.
I'm not going to let this stand.
Yeah.
No, don't lie on Jesse's name like this.
He knows it's true. Anyway, one thing that we did want to point out is that you can make some extra money over at BetMGM. If you get in the batter's box with BetMGM's Swing for the Fences promotion, get in on this offer with 3 easy steps. Log into BetMGM Sportsbook on iOS or Android. Play the BetMGM MLB free-to-play game from now until September 7th. And all you got to do is be a batter, pick an area of the strike zone. Depending on where you pick, you will either get some sort of hit or you will fly out. And depending on what you do, you will receive the prize associated with that type of hit. You can play it once a day, and prizing must be used on MLB. It does expire in 24 hours, so do not miss out on the opportunity to use it. And again, it must be used on MLB. Sign up for BetMGM and use bonus code PHNX. There's a few different offers depending on where you live. But for our Arizona audience, place your first bet offer and receive up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if it loses. Check out the show notes for full details. And now listen to Shane talk about the disclaimer.
1-800-GAMBLER. Colorado, D.C., Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Wyoming. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus to wager. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona, 1-800-522-4700 Nevada, 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa, 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help Michigan, 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. U.S. promotional offers not available in D.C., Kansas, Nevada, New York, or Ontario.
This is way better than having the picture that comes up.
Yeah,
I mean that's what the snake is for.
That's what he's for. I'm not gonna. It was not that creative an idea that some Leah started doing on Coyote Show.
Yeah. More on waiver claims. By the way, we have Mike Clevinger, who you have a couple of guys who kind of just went untouched. Right. Yeah. Mike Clevinger is a name that I know a lot of people had suggested maybe the Diamondbacks kick the tires on, and I don't know. Do we want to do that? Is that something you feel like they missed out on?
No, not really.
I don't feel like just any arm is the answer, right?
$8 million this year. Yeah, no, or
he has
12 mil.
Yeah, but he also has the club option, like Jesse talked
for
about, which was basically going to make him a part of this, roster for next year. Or
and first off, I think the fact that he would be more or less tied to this franchise next year, it puts me out on him immediately. Like I don't want that. I want them to have
like a clean slate.
I just want them to have as much flexibility as possible going into the free agency next year. So there's that, and then B, he's a shit person. Like he's not a good dude, and I think at a point where you're more or less taking a flyer on somebody, like you're kind of hoping they would work out. Like I'm not going to sit here and pretend that this is the real world. Obviously, if you're really fucking good, you get away with more stuff. But if I don't think from a franchise you should be taking a risk on a person that has off the field issues in the hopes that he might be a back end starter. Like it's bad enough if you're doing it for a star. You're gonna take that risk for someone who might not even be good, and you're gonna have to pay a bunch. I'm off it. I'm chilling.
Yeah, I mean, why don't you just call Trevor Bauer while you're at it?
Yeah,
and see what he's doing. He's been killing it in Japan.
Has he actually?
Yeah, he's actually been.
Because I knew he didn't start very well,
and I knew that was what the plan was. Right, you go over there.
Yeah, exactly.
You get people to forget. You're just good for long enough that people see you as a commodity once again, and they start to overlook any kind of
especially
off-field issues.
and it's bullshit. But I mean, these instances are instances where that's like, oh, they weren't found guilty or anything like that. I mean, like.
It's such a weird thing, though.
Yeah,
it really is.
So like they're gonna get away with it a little bit more there. But I mean, getting back to baseball too. Like that's a lot of money and a lot of commitment to a guy that you don't know was really going to make your team that much better. Then again, you throw all the off the field stuff on top of it. It just doesn't seem like that would have been that much sort of a decision. And there's a reason why nobody claimed him. Like there's a reason for that.
So I have this here. I mean, he's owed $1.5 million rest of the season,
right?
And then he has a $12 million
for
mutual option.
Yeah.
And then so basically, you would essentially be paying $5.5 million because he has a $4 million buyout.
Yeah.
You'd be paying $5.5 million if you didn't want him next year at a big salary for 1 month of a
mediocre,
below average pitcher.
Mediocre.
When like, and I'm not gonna sit here and be like and rah Zach Davies, but like. Is that a massive upgrade over a guy who's shown that on occasion he can turn out good starts?
That's really
or
what
a guy
it comes
like
down
Fott,
to,
like
or Ryan Nelson. Like,
I don't think so.
The Diamondbacks aren't losing a lot of these games like 15 to nothing. I mean, a lot of it is a lack of offense, right? Yeah. And Diamondbacks pitchers not being able to, hold, the opposition to a reasonable amount, like 3 runs or less.
Nicholas and Elise are making good points too. That like. This seems like a team that has a really good clubhouse energy. And I don't think that you can risk messing that up with somebody that probably is not going to be very popular in the clubhouse.
I mean, honestly, I don't want to say 100% that he's unstable, but there is an amount of instability to someone who got that mad over Bob Brenly's, innocent comments about, him shuffling his feet in the way. Like, he does have a weird delivery. I'm surprised that that's like the first time that it's irked him that someone's had something to say about it, because I would imagine throughout his entire career, his delivery has been something that people have either poked fun at or kind of joked around about or whatever, right? So, like, I mean, I think that's that's what makes it such a good point about the kind of culture. Like, plus legitimately, like, can you imagine him like still having some sort of ill will towards Bob Brenly over that, and then that being some sort of awkward situation now with the organization? You know, I don't know. But again, the bigger thing is he's not very good, and I think that the Diamondbacks still have better options, even if they have to turn to bringing Ryan Nelson back into the rotation, even if they have to do something like that. I mean, the Diamondbacks said that Ryan Nelson was going to be back. And I mean, they didn't really specify in what capacity, but they made it sound when they sent him down, which wasn't that long ago, like he was just going to work on some things in Reno and be back, especially in time to help this team make a push to the playoffs here in September. But I don't know. I don't know how the rotation is going to play out. I don't know how to feel still about. I feel like I want to be mad. But then I'm trying not to be mad.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like being a dad, right? Because there are times as a dad where like I feel like I should put on some more theatrics to show my daughter that I'm angrier than I am, because I really don't give a shit in the situation as much as I should. But I have to make a point, right? Like I feel like I should I feel like we should throw shade, but I don't feel like throwing shade. So let's just do the power rankings, shall we? Because nothing's changed in baseball. Absolutely nothing has changed in baseball. Aside from this absolutely insane picture of J-Rod there with the trident.
You said it was hot. I didn't realize it was that hot.
Yeah,
it's a great picture.
It's gonna melt people's YouTube apps. I mean, that's the way that it's gonna work. But literally no changes. And honestly, it was hard. Truth be told, I did my power rankings independent of looking at Jesse's from last week and did not know that I was going to muster up the exact same power rankings. But it's hard not to. Right now that AL West has 3 teams in the playoffs, and the Mariners have surpassed the 2 juggernauts in the division, in the Astros and the Rangers, to take the top spot and currently be first in the division. But they are not very far behind. The Rangers, not only are they not far behind the Mariners, but they're also not. They're kind of in danger of dropping out of.
The Rangers might not make the playoffs,
playoff picture. For our audio listeners, the ranking goes: Braves, Dodgers, Orioles, Mariners, Rays, Astros, Rangers, Blue Jays, and then coming in last at 10th is the Brewers. Did I say Phillies?
No,
I
said
Phillies. I skipped the Phillies, and then Brewers. So let me do that one more time. Braves, Dodgers, Orioles, Mariners, Rays, Astros, Rangers, Blue Jays, Phillies, Brewers. Do you disagree with any of these? Are any of these too high for you or anything like that?
No, I don't necessarily. I mean, with the way the Rangers have been playing recently, you might even be able to drop them lower than that. Like the Rangers are 3 and 7 of the last 10, only 2.5 games up on the Blue Jays.
Yeah, on the Blue Jays
for that last wild card spot in the AL right now, and it really does at this point seem like a 4-team race for the wild card. Boston got swept by the Astros, and kind of seems like it's funny because the Alex Cora the other day was like, I feel like after the Yankees series, like I feel like we've got one more good run in us, and then they almost immediately got swept by the Astros. They're 6.5 games out. So the Rangers might not make the playoffs. And I was saying to you before the show, there's been a lot of like things that have gone wrong for teams this year, right? Like obviously the Mets, the Yankees, the Padres have all been like massive train wrecks.
Yeah.
But I don't think there will be a worse season, a more disappointing season for a team if than the Rangers if they don't make the playoffs.
Oh, absolutely.
Like
especially with the way things have gone, how good they were in the first half,
how good they were, the money they
made.
spent in the offseason, what they did at the trade deadline. Like there was no reason that this team shouldn't be a favorite for the World Series, let alone a lock for the playoffs. And if they don't make the playoffs, man, and they have Bochy, it's not like they have some money. Like they've got every reason to be good.
Yeah.
And if they miss the playoffs, that is a failure if I've ever seen one.
Piece of Yoshi asked, why are the Rangers still 7th? It's still a body of work and not just like where they're at just for this week.
Yeah.
And they're still like you said, they still have a 2.5 game lead up on the Blue Jays.
A plus 173 run differential.
Yeah. Right. But they could easily fall out. Like you said. I mean, by this time next week,
the Blue Jays are good, man.
Could potentially see the Rangers
fall
out of it.
Shit, like the Red Sox are only 6.5 games out.
Well, look at
they're capable of going on runs.
The Cleveland Indians are like 11 games out of the final wild card spot, but they're only like 5 games out.
Did you just use the I word?
Did I say?
Did he use the I word?
Did I do that?
Oh no!
Oh no! Am I canceled?
You're canceled.
You're done, Derek.
All right.
off the pod. Pack up your things.
It was a good run. I mean, it fucking was a long time before I fucking did this. So before I go, I just want to say that, you know what? Screw you for you changing your names. I'm 42 years old. I'm too fucking old to be learning new names. You expect me just to remember? You got Deans at the end. It's still Cleveland Deans in some way. I'm not supposed to slip up and say Indians sometimes. God damn it. That's not my fault.
Well, that was our power rankings for the week. In the meantime, I think Derek needs to calm down. He can get himself a 4 peaks and a little something to sip on.
I'm back.
Okay, he's back. I didn't know what I was panicking.
Yeah, no.
I was gonna start doing ad reads. I didn't know if you had more to talk about. I was gonna
probably
start.
that's a good instinct. So I'm proud of you. But I do want to say though, before we move on from this, that these two top spots between the Braves and the Dodgers could swap fairly easily.
Yeah, I agree.
After this weekend, because they play each other. So the Brewers hold on to that final spot just because they somehow have a 3-game lead in the NL Central over the Cubs. Don't know if they're going to hold on to that, but like Jesse said yesterday, they do have superior starting pitching. They are a team that you might not want to catch in the playoffs with those 3 starters that they do have, and I think that's the way they've done it. It's not been sexy or flashy, but they're getting the job done. So they hold on to that spot for now, but we'll see how things play out here over the next week. The Diamondbacks still not really close, but
hold on. I was looking at the Rangers schedule. The Rangers should make the playoffs, man.
With who they have left?
They have a series against the Twins. Then they got 3 against the Astros. Then they got 3 against the Athletics. A huge 4-game series against the Blue Jays.
Yeah,
that's huge. Then they got the Guardians and the Sox, which are 2 teams they should be able to beat. Oh, but they have 2 series against the Mariners at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Oh boy, maybe not.
Yeah.
Texas. Y'all better make the playoffs.
It's just like the Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks have a couple of easy series peppered in there, but for the most part,
but it's not just like the Diamondbacks because we don't have we don't have Corey Seager.
Oh, yeah, you're right. As far as it being a gigantic failure if we don't make the playoffs, no. As a matter of fact,
we are playing with house money. They are playing with their owner's money, and a lot of it.
I mean, I appreciate Mike saying that anybody could win it because he's right? Like it really. Yeah, I mean
that is how the postseason goes.
It's just stupid, right? Because it is about luck. It is about who has that momentum on their side, who essentially is hot. But I mean, the Diamondbacks really, if they don't make the playoffs, I mean, it's a little bit of a disappointment.
Yeah,
it's just not catastrophic like what you're talking about with the Rangers.
No, I mean, it's like you look at the Mets and their season being a failure. Like they had to completely do it like a franchise reset. Yeah. Like we are not at the point where we're spending all this money. Like the Rangers are spending money to win this year.
Mets at least saw the writing on the wall and made a swift change.
Well, you know I mean, but in the Rangers' defense, there was no writing on the wall. The writing on the wall was that said it was the outline of the banner they were going to put up for the fucking World Series.
True.
Like
they did get swept by the Diamondbacks. That was probably a red flag right there. But that feels like
that was right after they got swept by the Brewers, wasn't it? That's a red flag right there.
I feel like that was a shot at us, and I don't feel good about that. But anyway, we could just move on.
No. That's right after the Rangers got swept by the Brewers.
No, I know. I'm saying me saying the Rangers being swept by the Diamondbacks is a bad thing.
It suggests that you shouldn't be losing to the Diamondbacks.
A little bit of a shot. Yeah, maybe they deserve it, but I don't know. What I'll tell you this: what we deserve is you guys. Maybe we don't deserve.
I don't think
we do deserve you guys because you guys are amazing. We thank you. We thank all of the new diehards that have joined us over here at PHNX and become part of the family. That sale is over, but you can still get your diehard membership, and it's still an amazing value. If you haven't gotten that yet, you missed out on the sale. Go to gophnx.com. Sign up today, become a diehard. You still get that $50 gift certificate for Mountain Mike's. Still get that Dobson Ranch card. You still get a wonderful shirt from the phnxlocker.com. This one I'm wearing, this hat, that shirt he's wearing, whatever you want over there at the phnxlocker.com, and 20% off all future purchases. You also get Jesse's newsletter, full count, and the full newsletters for all of our writers around here. You get all sorts of wonderful other benefits, including access to our members-only Discord lounge, which is the best place to be an Arizona sports fan. So join us today over here at GoPHNX and get yourself a diehard membership. Also, he's right. Right now, I could absolutely use a delicious Four Peaks, a Hop Knot IPA in my hand because I did make a mistake in the Cleveland name, and I don't feel good about that. But you know what? I do feel good when I'm drinking Four Peaks, which is the official craft beer of this guy, the Arizona Diamondback. He is the Arizona Diamondback. And of course, he enjoys the Rattle on Red Ale himself. But you can join us on September 5th for our last takeover of the year. We will be meeting up at the Four Peaks Draft Room. It is located on the suite level at Chase Field down the first baseline. Make sure if you don't have tickets to the event, still come over, find us, hang out with us. We're all going to be having a good time, drinking Four Peaks beers, eating some chicken tendies, and getting ready to watch the Diamondbacks continue their march to the playoffs. You can follow Four Peaks online at their, go to their calendar at fourpeaks.com/events to stay up to date on everything Four Peaks. And you can check them out on social media at Four Peaks Brew or at Four Peaks Pub to keep up with the latest. Arizona's hometown brewery. Must be 21 or older to drink Four Peaks, and please drink responsibly. All right. And now
you were just going to move on and just act like that didn't happen.
I was trying to.
And now,
OG's Gummies. If you thought that was funny, you can imagine watching it on OG's Gummies. But if you are stuck on what kind of OG's Gummies to try, they took the guesswork out of it for you. Right now, you can try their fruits and their creams, which come with a wide variety of flavors: red apple, watermelon, peach in the fruits. You got the blackberries and cream, orange creamsicle, strawberries and cream. This man was talking about strawberries and cream being incredible.
True, it's my new
Peaches
favorite
and cream.
flavor.
They're all Hall of Fame flavors, and they're all in one place. So make sure to check them out. Plus, those new bags, the fruits and the cream bags, are both available in their Sunny Sativa or their Mellow Indica blend. So depending on what mood you're in and where you need to get yourself, make sure to check out those different bags and customize your OG's experience based on all sorts of stuff, like your mood, the time of day. I love their sleep gummies, by the way. I've talked about them for a long time. One bag of sleep gummies will completely readjust your sleep schedule and get you back on track. So make sure not to miss those as well. Being a PHNX listener just got a whole lot sweeter thanks to our buds over at OG's Brands. Right now through August 31st, that would be today. Today's the last day to do that. You can get 25% off 100 milligram bags of the fruits and the creams at all Arizona Flower Shop locations. All you have to do is go to theflowershopusa.com, place an online order, and use discount code PHNX at checkout. Then head to your nearest Flower Shop location to pick up. That's right. The deal is exclusive to our PHNX listeners, and it is available for online orders that are picked up in person. The discount code PHNX is active through today, so get on to flavoring your life. Go watch the new episode of Ahsoka after eating some OGs and live your best life. Live your best life. Speaking of best life, I don't know how good the Diamondbacks' lives are going to be when they play the Baltimore Orioles, because this Baltimore Orioles team is very good. Let's take a look at how good this team is. 83-50 record, plus 96 run differential, 7-3 in their last 10. One area that that you could say is a little bit of a weakness is that 4.37 starting pitching ERA. Not great. And honestly, that's something that the Diamondbacks hopefully can take advantage of, because lately they haven't been very good against relief pitching, but they have been able to at least do some damage against starting pitching. So that's something that hopefully they can exploit.
Yeah, I mean, if you're beating the Orioles, it's probably because you're putting up runs on them, not because you're silencing their offense or anything like that. So
745 team OPS.
Yeah,
pretty good.
Yeah, it is pretty good. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'm hopeful about this, but the Orioles are not the Dodgers. I'll say that.
Correct.
They definitely feel far more vulnerable,
yes,
and beatable. And there is still, to me, a certain sense of like they are ahead of schedule. They shouldn't be doing this yet. Not that I don't necessarily believe in them, but maybe I don't believe in them. I don't know.
They just might not have that same ability to come in here and just and dominate the way that the Dodgers did when the Diamondbacks
strip you of your will to live.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I'm at least hoping that doesn't happen this week. But yeah, I mean, they're really good, and they have a bunch of young talent. Like, between just really Rushman and Gunnar Henderson. Like, those two are studs. There's talent on this team, man.
Yeah. Michael brings up a great point. Felix Bautista is injured as well. We don't know how long they've lost him for, but
Felix.
That could be a factor in a number of ways. You're really doing that?
Mm-hmm.
You're really doing the King Felix thing?
King Felix.
Wow. I didn't know we were doing that. The probables are really the biggest question mark for the Diamondbacks. I do like Jay's comment. He said whoever scores more runs will win. I'll say that. You're absolutely right, Jay. That's stellar commentary, and I couldn't have said it better myself. Pedro says D-backs all-time record versus the O's is pretty sure as well. I don't know about that. This ain't your daddy's Orioles team. This is a different Orioles team.
Yeah, we're also talking about at a time where we weren't playing everybody all the time.
That's true. That's true too. But yeah, let's take a look at the probables, because again, Zach Gallen pitching in the finale at home as the anchor in this series gives me a lot of hope. But I feel like there is a lot of question marks about Zach Davies and Slade Ciccone, and I just mean that in the form of I don't know.
Yeah,
you don't know what you're going to get out of either one of them. I mean, I want to believe Zach Davies is the pitcher we saw in his last outing, and same thing with Slade. But I feel like there's going to be, just like what we saw in LA, I feel like we're going to have one of those situations where maybe one of these guys gets, as Tori would say, nicked up.
Yeah, I mean, again, we were talking about how good that offense is. When you got Davies and Ciccone going out there back to back, it doesn't feel like there's no confidence that you're going to get out of those two unscathed. Like something's going to go wrong there. That's just kind of how this works.
Yeah.
But knowing that at the end is Gallen in a very favorable matchup against Flaherty, who has not been great. I
like that.
We'll see. But it does. They should. Win two.
Right?
Win two. I just like it's so tough to talk about these starting pitchers because it's like Zach Davies is so wildly inconsistent. Slade is still relatively new. And then even Zach.
Like Zach Davies is maddening. I mean, I imagine if you are like a coach or something based on because again, that's kind of what I hold on to at times, and maybe maybe I do it too much, where like I think like of a couple of good games a guy had instead of the entire body of work, or how he's pitching lately consistently bad or something like that, right? So I still believe in Zach Davies as far as what we've seen out of him at times. But consistency in baseball is what makes you good, and being consistent all the time is what makes you great, right? So it's like you can show flashes of being good at times, but if you're not doing it consistently, not only are you not great, you're not even good, right? So that's what it feels like with Zach Davies. Who knows how much that injury was impacting, those bad starts that he had prior to going on the IL. I don't really know.
That's very
we did joke about it being a mystery stint on the IL and things like that, but maybe there was something there that was truly impacting his mechanics or his delivery or anything, right? So if that's rectified and Zach Davies can be this guy that we saw, in this previous series against the Reds, then I mean, I'm all for it. But we do have 7 very important games against the Cubs. And why is that important? Because this is the only division that matters. It's the All-City division. And of course, the All-City division is slipping away from us, guys. We're 2.5 games back. And we need to make those games up on the Cubs.
This is an all-time collapse.
This makes me sick.
This makes me sick. This is an all-time collapse.
Yeah.
This is very.
We had a double-digit game lead in the All-City division.
Yeah.
This is very
a large majority.
Yeah,
of the
like
season.
Francona at the end of his Sox tenure when they collapsed in the last month of the season. Yeah. Like that's what this feels like. Somebody should lose their job over this. I'm not saying it should be Derek, but I'm saying naturally the manager, the head, kind of is naturally, they're going to be the first one to go.
God damn it!
So Derek, you better hope
I'm not out there on the field playing these goddamn games.
Just hope we figure it out. No, you're not. But sometimes the manager has to go. That's just how it is. So make sure you better hope they figure it out and we don't collapse like this.
I can't believe I traded my mayorship for you. I really can't sometimes, but yeah, we got 7 games against the Cubs though. So
yeah,
right?
True. True.
We control our destiny.
It is in our own hands.
Yeah, we control it when it comes to the All-City division. But
snakes don't have hands.
I guess we can also look at the wild card update as well, because I mean it's not depressing, but here's where we're at. There's the Diamondbacks just outside looking in.
I can't wait
at those
until we
Giants.
Get the Marlins off here.
Yeah, the Marlins need to fall off. The Diamondbacks do have that 2-game series with the Giants, which is going to be very important. And then again, not to sound like a broken record, 7 games still against the Chicago Cubs. That's probably the only part of this whole diverse schedule thing I don't like is when they have stuff like that.
Yeah, stuff like this.
Really?
Especially a team like a Cubs because it's going to be fucking 7 straight games basically at Wrigley Field.
Well, no, it's 4.
No, I know. Yeah, I'm saying with how Cubs fans show up. Like,
yeah, I get it now.
It's you're not really. You would like those series to be separated a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. But I don't like the Fire Derek chance.
Fire Derek.
This is terrible.
Let's get it going. Print the shirts.
Oh, man.
Fire Derek.
Bunch of ingrates, I swear to God. How dare
Print
you?
the shirts.
Put it next to our
dare
fire
you.
whip shirt.
The shirts, yes.
I'm going to throw shade at our entire chat, but I don't have my Shady Rays on.
The people
so I
have
can't do
spoken.
that
The
right
will
now.
of the people will not be
That's
ignored.
fine. It's fine. He said historic collapse, sell PHNX, fire Derek. I mean, I don't disagree with some of that. But anyway, I do need my sunglasses because, of course, I live in Arizona.
And because
you
you're not
do
going to be
too.
able to show your face after you get fired.
I'm not going to be able to show my face. Definitely, I'm not going to be able to show my face at the Jersey Mike's downstairs anymore. That's for sure. That's what? Am I not allowed to say that?
What happened with the Jersey Mike's?
No, because you guys are there all the time. I'm not
yeah.
going to be able
Yeah.
to be in there. Oh,
I was
man.
like, I thought you did something that got you banned from the Jersey
Oh
Mike's or
no,
something.
no, well, not. I mean,
Not recently.
not at that one. But
Yeah.
anyway, I do want to suggest to everybody that lives in Phoenix to get themselves a pair of premium polarized shades that are built to last. Made by an independent sunglass company with a world-class product that is not nearly as expensive as sunglasses that are just like it. But those more expensive sunglasses do not have a lost and broken replacement plan like our friends at Shady Rays. They have the most insane protection plan in all of eyewear. They have told us that if you lose or break your sunglasses, even on day one, they will send you a brand new pair of Shady Rays, no questions asked at all. No judgment. Take off the white wig. They'll put down the gavel. No judging at all.
The snake is very
The
excited
snake
about
is
the
really
deals.
into it. We need to get the snake a pair of Shady Rays.
I was literally just thinking
Yeah,
that.
we really do. But if you don't love your Shady Rays, whether you get them online or at their brand new location at Kierland Commons here in town, you can exchange them for a new pair or return them for free within 30 days. No risk when you shop at Shady Rays. And exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Go to shadyrays.com and use code PHNX for 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people. And last, I know we're a couple of thirst.
I'm thirsty as shit. Honestly, there was a point during the middle of the show where I was just like, I thought I was going to be sick because I was like, I haven't eaten all day and I need like at least a little snack.
I was watching PHNX Cardinals and Bo was drinking out of his cup for what appeared to be 5 straight minutes, and it just made me thirsty on the spot. Right, I was just incredibly thirsty.
And I've heard
what
it's a pretty damn good time to get beverages at Circle K.
You're absolutely right.
What I've heard.
Well, it's always it's always a good
it's even
time
more exceptional
to go
than
to
always.
America's thirst stop, right? But yes, because they have a brand new membership program called The Inner Circle, and you can join The Inner Circle and get yourself all sorts of wonderful benefits, including saving 25 cents per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups at Circle K, and also buying 5 and getting your 6th one free on selection of Circle K products, including pizza, coffee, and those ice cold fountain drinks that me and this man are craving so much right now. So make sure to stop by.
Wait,
Circle
you didn't
K.
hear the big news.
What's the big
about
news?
Circle K.
Oh, what's that?
It's Circle K Day.
Oh, it is Circle K Day. That's right.
That's what I was getting
50% off today,
Yes,
right? What do we got?
50%, it's 50% off hot foods and dispensed beverages. So
From
that's
6
why I was
a.m. to
talking
4
about.
p.m.
Go get myself a taquito. One of
Let's
the
go.
chicken
We got
tornadoes
2 hours left on that.
And fucking wrap this shit up then.
Yeah.
50% off. 6 a.m. to 4 p.m.
50% off.
And 30% off per gallon of gas.
Let's go.
4 to 7
You don't
p.m.
even need the Inner Circle for that, but you can get that today and then sign up for
Can
the
we
Inner
talk real
Circle.
quick about how good the people at Circle K are? Because normally when you do stuff like that, you'll do it like kind of like a happy hour thing where you do it during the middle of the day because people. They did that rush hour. They're giving people 30 cents off gas when everyone's driving home from work.
6 a.m. to 4 p.m.
No, but that's for the drinks. The gas, yes.
Tonight is 4 p.m. to 7 p.m.
Your coffee was real cheap in the morning, and now you can get your cheap ass gas on the way home.
Why
They're doing it at the prime time that you want the stuff.
I like you. I like the emphasizing with the snake. We might need to make this an every show thing.
We might have to. We're gonna have. He's gonna be a character.
The snake is part of the Inner Circle, and so should you.
Coming for your job,
should
Jesse.
also be. Join Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. Don't
Can we
miss
name
out.
the snake Jesse?
I don't know how he's going to feel about that.
Well, he's replacing Jesse.
Right.
So,
we're going to have to come up with something better.
Jesse
than that.
Jr.?
Yeah, maybe Jesse
JJ?
Jr. JJ?
Jesse Jr.?
Yeah,
Either
double
like that
J.
or Sammy if we're going
Double J.
alliteration. But
Sammy Snake.
yeah,
Sammy
Sammy Snake
Snake,
or
yeah.
JJ.
Yeah.
JJ's
all
fire.
right. JJ is fire.
JJ.
Yeah, it's double J. That's
JJ
our
the Snake.
right? Yeah.
JJ. Jesse Jr.
That's settled. That's settled. Jesse, you don't need to come back. We got it covered. We have Mike Ferrin to give us information.
I'm
We
going
have
to
this
get
little
real
guy.
good at ventriloquy, being a ventriloquist, so I can just start being like, "Hi guys, how's it going?
Delivering his hot takes through the snake, so that way he can keep himself. You're
I'm a
so
snake,
good
I'm
at
not
keeping
Shawn.
yourself out of trouble. I swear to God.
Shawn, JJ is like the most positive, calm, like, oh, it's okay, guys. Zach Davies is going to figure it out.
We're not doing that. No, we're leaving that to the rising guys. But we thank you guys so much for being here and for joining us today. Of course, you can follow us on Twitter. I'm at cap_caveman with a K. Shawn is at Shawn_DePause. JJ is at Jesse Jr. the Snake. Damon, he is Damon Dog. We are Damon's Dogs. And of course, he is at Damon Dog, DAWG on Twitter. Jesse is at Jesse N. Friedman. And of course, our show is at PHNX D-backs. But all roads lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We thank you guys so much for being here in the chat today. Big shout out to Mike Ferrin for joining us. We always appreciate his time.
The gas is for everyone, 4 to 7 today.
Get the gas discount is for everyone from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Get over there right now.
You might want to get there early because I bet you they're still having lines.
There's going to be like, well, you can go there and get the drink stuff before 4 p.m. and then go get in your car and then fill up after 4
you could be one of those people that,
if you're smart, you get there like 3:45 and you'll get the best of both worlds.
Side note, you're a bad person if you park at a gas pump and you're not getting gas.
You absolutely are.
But
you're a fucking monster.
It is completely, in my mind, acceptable if you're getting gas at some point during the process to leave your car.
Correct, because when I'm on a road trip, I park my car at the pump. I'm going to get gas, but I'm going to go in and get some munchies, use the bathroom first. Then I'm going to come out and fill out. I don't care. I don't care what you look at me. I don't care how long you wait there. Whatever, it doesn't matter for me. But yeah, go get some free stuff or go get some discounted stuff. Don't miss out. We thank you guys again so much for joining us. On behalf of all of these guys and JJ the Snake, we appreciate your time. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it is so much more fun when you actually get the players you wanted at the waiver deadline.